For those who really want like a short summary for us business-wise, right? Brady mentioned the stablecoin. That's what we at SMC Capital very proud. So the stablecoin of 500 million, being issued on Malaysia on every token. So that those guys chose every token for a very simple reason. It's very easy to use and at a fraction of the cost if like they chose Ethereum, for example. And the largest volunteer organization in China. So if you check EVT scan, that's where you can check transactions. You'll see lots of block producers. These guys are really using the public chain already to like pay the volunteers. So this is a real use case, and that's what we want to see. And going forward, Brady has some amazing announcement in terms of partnerships with very large industry players. He cannot announce it now, but maybe if you during networking come up and he's gonna whisper it to your ear. Anyway, so let's go to the next panel discussion. It's gonna be something very interesting. Let's talk about investments. How many of you guys invest in ICO, IO, and STO? Can you raise your hands? 1, 2, 3, 4. Trade, exchanges, secondary market. Well, yeah, well, kind of.
So all items, investors.
Alrighty, speakers for this panel, could you please take your seat? We have Alex from Swissborg, our dear friend. Andrew Adcock from Crowd Angels. Brady. Arnie Hill from Brazilian Capital. And we have Nadal Pearson, he's a VP of Business Development and Stress. Let's kick off with a short intro of you guys, who you are, what you do, and in 3 sentences, what's your experience investing in, be it an IO, ICO, or an STO, or equity?
Yeah, I'll kick off. Great. My name's Andrew Adcock. I'm the CEO of Crowd Angels. We're a regulated crowdfunding platform, and we've been doing blockchain projects since 2015. I found blockchain through Tor. Anybody knows the Onion browser and the markets on there, you had to pay in Bitcoin. I started mining it, then bought a little bit. Yes, I bought something on the Tor market, and now I'm just investing in the space, along with the company and other investors. The ICOs for me, I lost a little bit at the end of it, but that was the fun, that was the interesting, and now it's trying to let tech open.
Hey guys, my name is Alex Fazell. I'm head of communication at Swissborg. We're basically building the Expedia.com of crypto investment platforms. And we're completely community-backed and of course community-driven. And in terms of ICOs, we actually conducted an ICO in 2017. We raised 50 million out of Switzerland. And it was quite amazing because it was dispersed around 148 countries, which means our penetration rate was better than McDonald's. Yeah, it's not bad for a small fintech out of Switzerland.
That's really bad.
Yeah.
You guys, your times, good times, happy times.
Yeah, this actually shows the revolution of crowdfunding from the past, right? I used to have banking background. I did investment banking for 3 years, and then I quit. But anyway, traditionally, you never think about like a small organization or entity can raise so much money through all this so-called community across from 5 different continents. It's not imaginable at all. So for myself, because the time we do public sale, there's no ICOs. It's gone for a year already. So we did so-called IEO. We did 2 rounds of private sales and then the IEO, initial exchange offering. So a little bit like difference between IEO and ICO is that in the past you use a ICO platform to raise money or to invest. but now you go directly to the exchange. So it's called initial exchange offering, and then you can list it very soon.
Hi everyone, I'm Nathan Pearson-Smith. I'm the VP of Business Development at StratX, which is a Canadian-based due diligence, compliance, and advisory firm to mostly utility token projects, but increasingly we've been working with a number of security token projects in advising them on how to facilitate the landscape on getting the liquidity they need to ensure that they have an effective token market. We've been a partner to a number of exchanges, the leading exchanges, if you will, in the marketplace. That's going to continue, especially in the utility token space. We're working with a lot more exchanges in the security token front as well.
Cool, yeah. I'm Arnie Hill, slightly unorthodox background of being a sort of in politics, grassroots community activist, political organisation for public sectors, NHS, education in the UK and also international movements as well. Got into crypto in 2017, started trading, and formed a fund. I think we've done 29 investments into companies in the blockchain space, over 200 million in a year and a half, 70 rounds, slowly starting to do more equity. Our thesis is investing in disruption, also disrupting people in politics as well before, so carrying on from there. We're looking for disruptive companies, innovation, stuff that is going to upset industries before it happens. That's basically our thesis, and incubating and supporting those companies from start to finish and beyond as well.
Great, thank you so much, Chance. We have like a really amazing, diverse type of people here on the panel, like, real people from the industry. And this year, we lived through half of 2019 already, and for me it's sort of a deja vu of 2017, in the sense that Bitcoin is on the rise, we have IOs replacing an ICO sort of, and a couple of other factors, like trade from China is increasing, and so many different things. So as the name of the panel goes, IOs. I came to London on Tuesday, and boom, Wirex doing an IO, and everyone is talking about that. So it's very interesting, because we know we were thinking about investing in a private sale ourselves, and boom, like the difference of public and private, and black and white in a white paper, how it goes. So. James, what do you think about the IO as an investment opportunity? What happens on the market, and what would you recommend to the audience? Would you invest, and if yes, how?
I'll kick that off. First chair on the left, I guess. I'm not a fan of IEOs. I'll put my hands up now. Partly because I think they have two big problems. One, their costs to do a successful IEO very expensive. You can quote from 150,000 up to $500,000. So who has that as a starter? I think an equity investment at the beginning is what you need. But as well, are we just putting a bandage on some of our problems? A lot of IEOs I've seen or been asked to contribute for, not for EVT token, because that's a newer company, but the ones from the ICO age, their price collapse, and they're using the IEO money for market making. And what happens is, you've got a crowd of people who supported a token, they've lost their ass because the prices fell, they're being asked to believe in this token again, and they're getting dumped on a second time. It's just not fair, right? We put our hard money into buying these tokens, why do you go tallers on top of it? I don't want it. So I'm not a huge fan of IEOs, but ICOs. When it's a new company who's raised a little bit of capital and then goes for an IEO, that's a good story because it provides liquidity for the investors who want that. And they can't take advantage of, for instance, tax relief. They want that liquidity, they want to be able to trade, they want to be able to buy more, they want to be able to sell. But an ICO doing an IEO, stay well away.
So guys, I was actually yesterday with a good friend of mine smoking some really good blueberry Fakir shisha. And I was thinking, like, what can I share with you guys today that would bring value to the community? And here's what it is. So our quants team in Canada crunched all the numbers. And if you look at all the exchanges in terms of IEOs, and you take the 5 best, we'll say the most credible as of today, that don't fake their volume as much as some of the other exchanges. Binance executed 6 IEOs. Out of the 6, 4 were extremely successful. So I'm talking about triple digits. If you look at the Matic Network IEO, which just launched in March, it's actually at 800%. You would have made 8x if you joined that IEO. So this is not investment advice. Of course, please do your own due diligence, but KuCoin as well, they've done 3 IEOs, and none of them are negative in terms of ROI. They're all ROI positive. And when it comes to Huobi, it's a 50-50, and OKX, more or less, it's pretty good. So this is what I'm trying to say is that if you're interested in investing in IEOs, I think that, of course, number one, you need to look at the company. That's without a doubt. It's not the platform that matters, it's the company and the token utility that connects to the company. There has to be clear utility. But in terms of timing, I think it's an interesting opportunity just because all these companies are clashing, banging their heads, because they want companies to use their platform to launch their IEO. And they need a clear track record to motivate you to go and do your IEO on their platform. So that competition will push them to market these companies more and do more publicity so that the token stays healthy. So in terms of investments, I see this as a pretty good opportunity in terms of timing, but and I'm actually going to invest in the WireX IEO because I do think it's a very credible company with clear traction, post-product revenue and profitability margins. So I'm up for it for sure.
Can I ask a question? So why WireX do the IEO rather than like traditional equity finance?
That's a good question, but as far as I understand, is they wanted to have a native token, and perhaps they need funding as well. For expansion, I think they're just going to do the extra cash. I'm not an expert on their IEO right now, but I do know that they have 700,000 people on their waiting list, which is really, really good.
Sure.
They have cards that have been launched. Their cards work. They're in Japan. They're in the UK. So I mean, it's very rare to have. Mostly IEOs, ICOs are very early stage companies, right? It reminds you almost of penny stocks. WireX is definitely more established than some of the other.
There are often a number of different factors that come into play as to why a company, whether it's an established provider like WireX or an early stage startup, there are often a number of factors that come into play as to why they would decide to conduct an IEO. It may be down to the simple fact that they need to raise capital, and for companies at a very early stage, that can often be the #1 prime reason. Whereas, and I don't know the specifics about WireX in particular, but for others, in terms of what we've seen in the companies we've been advising on whether or not to do an IEO, just being able to distribute their tokens to a wide range of people across different regions as a marketing plan, especially, there are very few other ways that will be able to allow them to distribute tokens on such a wide scale. So that can often come into play, but as Alex and also Andrew said, do your own research. That's the most important factor. Don't just choose an IEO to invest in because the previous IEOs on the likes of Binance or Huobi have been successful. Often that statement of past performance is not indicative of future success, and that's still the same. So the most important thing is to do that research.
Yeah, for me, there's no true statements across whether you look at ICO, IEO, SEO, right? You need to look at why IEOs came about. Market collapse, that's a fact, and projects are struggling to raise liquidity. They can't raise at the same valuations as 30, 40, 50 mil, it's very rare. So what do? You basically strip out your ICO, you have an IEO where you don't have the same kind of intense marketing campaigns, you have a very bare-bones team, you have a very much smaller allocation, or smaller valuation, and then you go mostly to the private sale, you moved and shifted that onto the exchange. So you're stripping out basically all the middlemen, all the brokers, all the VCs, and you're creating direct liquidity on the exchange listing while the team still has most of their tokens. What I'm seeing, this is basically a reverse ICO model. So the team will raise 2 or 3 million, they'll own 60% of the tokens, they'll get listed on an exchange, for example, Binance. But like Matic, for example, only raising 4 million at 800%, you're raising on the back end. So the whole aim is to get listing, and what you do is you sacrifice, you put the risk at the beginning, and you unlock it at the end. I personally think IEOs are too risky. That's just my own personal appetite. Because of the nature of them being stripped out, they're just mostly to raise liquidity, and the fashion in which they're in is very gimmicky. I'm not saying they're bad. I think what's interesting is you're already starting to see the IO trend diminish. Always trends are going to sort of peak and diminish, and you saw maybe with Binance, the IDO, initial DEX listing, right? So with all the regulation kind of happening in flux at the moment, with FATFA the other day saying all exchanges need to report suspicious transactions, do KYC and share that data amongst share the data from exchanges to regulators. You're starting to see some of the bigger players shift regulatory to DEXs where they can say, well, these kind of float on the internet and we don't really have control. I think the test there is basically how much that's going to stand up against regulators. So, I mean, IEOs can be profitable, but you can also lose a lot of capital. So, again, it's always coming down to due diligence. Personally, I don't prefer it.
Right, thank you so much, Jess, for sharing this. The year of 2019, we thought, well, last year, the end of last year is like the rise of STO, like sort of FOMO, right? Everyone was expecting, some sort of liquidity. First, like we have share post, open finance, and that trend, it's been going somewhere, and at the moment, like nothing's happening really, like there's some private placements and stuff like that. What's your take on STO? So like digital smart securities, digital assets, there are all sorts of names right now. So what do you think about investments in STO? Where this market is going?
Yeah, obviously we're a platform that does STO, so we call them tokenized securities. A lot of people did talk about 2019. I mean, I wish it was there because I think if we saw it, we probably wouldn't have seen the big buy-in of IEO. But there's no liquidity. It's a fallacy at this moment in time. There's just no exchanges. They're coming. And our chats are coming around 2020. They're hoping there's a couple of Swiss organisations coming out. Estonia is pushing for it. There is problems, that we're facing, from simple things like custody arrangement to confirmation statements that companies have. They've got a GET API rather than a POST API. It's little technical issues that we need to resolve first, and I think we'll get there.
When do you expect this to
2020. The reason being the process for what the class is an MTF license in the UK takes between 9 and 12 months. It's a little bit faster in Europe. But if you start that process today, it's not a process from 9 months from now. The FCA have a very clear guidance. It's when it's 9 months from a complete application. They don't tell you what a complete application.
It's interesting. You're only talking from like a UK or Europe perspective.
Yeah,
right?
UK
like everything is in silos from what we see, right? Because in the US, people don't talk only about the US. In the UK, come here, you talk about people in Singapore, so talk about Asia overall. So what do you think about connecting the dots?
Well,
where's the things going to be happening?
In my opinion, it's. I'd love to see it. I'm a bit of a blue sky thinker. There's things like global digital finance trying to connect, all these realms. I'd love to see that. I would love for my token to be on an exchange in Singapore and an exchange in America. I'd love a shared database. I'd love just a few oracles in the world that people can fire data down and they store it. And people are confident wherever you are in the world. And, you take the top 5 or 6 global economies, they do sort of interrupt each other, but at the moment, the government is still a little bit behind. I don't know why that is. I'm hoping it's just a generational thing, but we need to shift across. And I think Asia actually is one of the most exciting projects. And if you look at Libra coin that came out, they're based in Switzerland, and they opened the discussion at a time when America was asleep. They are not looking at America, they're looking east. I think we can all say that confidently.
Right. Just to touch on Andrew's point, it's funny because Andrew and I had a conversation around a month ago around the pace of the SEO space and the fact that we both felt that it wasn't where it needed to be. So we advise a number of token projects, security token projects, who are a mix of real estate funds looking to tokenize their fund, or even investment funds as well. And the common challenge and the issue that we keep seeing rise is how do we issue tokens on a blockchain, and how do we get them into the secondary market? Those are the questions that are posed to us, and we go to the industry experts like Andrew and other players in the market like Archax, Token Market, Navora, and a number of others, and look at who are the emerging players going to be. There still isn't a direct answer. We're still looking for those answers, and it may be the back end of 2020 that they do. There is an emerging player who will be able to facilitate and issue tokens on the blockchain and also provide them in the secondary market. So it's certainly not coming soon. One thing that's for sure, but it's in the process. But the regulatory rules that are in place in different regions are certainly coming in.
Yeah, I mean, it's not going to happen anytime soon, in my opinion. I think where it's at is basically classification. Jurisdictions need to work out how they're going to tax these new assets. Secondly, the reason why I don't think it's going to happen anytime soon, probably 3 to 5 years away, if not more, is because you're talking about disrupting major global financial markets. You can't just release an instrument into the financial market and expect there not to be any turmoil. It's probably why they're delaying Bitcoin ETF is because, for example, most of the mining is in the East, so if you release a Bitcoin ETF into US financial markets, you're releasing a new instrument or asset which is controlled by Asian economies, so the US are not very keen on that. There's a lot of geopolitical and kind of politics happening at play. I think that where the biggest opportunities are for STOs is in the SME space. Tokenizing SMEs and unlocking all this kind of illiquid value is going to be the main play. Sovereign debt. I think if you look at sovereign debt, that's going to be huge. So companies print money all the time, but it's pretty much illiquid. I mean, you can get sovereign debt from Venezuela or any country, and they trade it between each other. So if you take this sovereign debt from them and say, look, we're going to make this sovereign debt liquid, and it's in the trillions, that's a massive kind of game changer. So we're looking at how security tokens will change things in a completely different way. I'm not really interested in someone tokenizing their horse, their dog, their hotel. I'm not really interested in people selling shovels and ice picks. I'm really interested in bigger macro political changes. I still think we are a long time away. If you look at the first cohort of SEO infrastructure, Polymath, some of these other projects, they pretty much burned their money lobbying, 100 million, 300 million, and right now for us, I think it's a massive risk if you invest in SEO infrastructure. The company will most likely burn it. So I think all of the funds and VCs in the space are kind of like, how do we kind of incubate this technology and infrastructure without getting burned? Right now it's a massive money sink, but it has to happen in order for us to kind of see the infrastructure for this new technology and asset. And like Andrew said, there are all these little intricate things like, for example, the APIs for companies' house. There's also securities registers in London which are ancient and you can't integrate into anything. So you're having to think about how do you re-port all of this stuff, and they don't actually want to do it. So it's got to come from private investment. So there's a lot of work that needs to be done. I think 5 years is optimistic.
Well, actually, our moderator supposedly is not like having too much to say, but as you mentioned, SMEs is very interesting, and here in Europe, we don't know so much, like too much what happens in Asia, and what's very interesting in Taiwan, and Taiwan is expecting, they expect to have a legislation, legislation aimed towards, liberalizing the STO market. So Maycoin, which is their largest exchange, they already build right now this type of space where the ground floor is going to be dedicated, just like a brokerage, for opening account only to invest in STOs in SMEs. They're going to securitize, the cash flows or whatever. They want to be pioneers in Asia. Or first, they kickstart from Taiwan, and it's like 60 million people at least. So we don't know what's happening there too much, but it happens as we speak. So perhaps
regarding the private space, I've been talking to Taiwan quite often in the past 2 months. We had an amazing business partner here helping us talk to the regulator.
Regarding STO, my opinion is like it's high school sex. Like everybody talks about it, nobody has to do it. Maybe you guys know from high school, I don't know that. Anyway, so the hard part, for example, about the doing STO from regulator perspective is that when you do this on Ethereum, for example, ERC 1440, it's a protocol. You still have to write a smart contract. But whenever you do a new STO, you have to write a new smart contract. So the regulator don't know how to verify this at all. Feel free about it. That's the harder part from a technology perspective. And when I talk to them, we offer such a standardized safe contract solution. We talk to them first, and we'll put all those standard core functions within our safe contract, the SDO contract. They can trust this contract for one time, and you're just using this core functions. You couldn't change it. Just have different configurations. So they feel very comfortable about this. So this is our practices in Taiwan.
I think Taiwan's fantastic. I mean, I met a company called EVT Network, and it blew my mind. I sat there on a test network on the Boston network in my boardroom, and whilst they were all talking, I'm there on my phone, just building all the smart contracts. They named it something else. I funded it. It delivered the tokens. I thought that was fantastic. So Taiwan is a place to watch because they're underrepresented on the global stage. And their government and things. I had about a week ago one of their councilmen reaching out to work, and I put a blog on your website. I'm like, what? This is amazing. It's just amazing that it's.
And every municipal government out there is trying to issue their own coins. Every single one. Seriously, every city trying to issue their own coins on a government level. You'll be surprised.
That's neat, and actually the transparency standard that we're developing is together with the ex-Minister of Digitalization of Taiwan. The initiative came from there. It was born in Taiwan to protect investors. So actually we have 5 minutes for Q&A. Right. So the acoustic is pretty good too. You can just go ahead, yeah. Maybe introduce yourself.
Hi, Toby Lewis from research firm Nova Insights. I've been listening to the conversation and been thinking quite a lot about, I kind of feel a lot of us got into blockchain because of the technology, and the financial markets coming to early stage tech is really, really, really exciting. But it strikes me, especially with, Andrew's point on the ICOs doing IEOs, and it's like this awful pyramid of crap. And I wonder, where do we go? Because if you think about it, the exchange markets are trading these networks of what in many cases is vaporware, and I think it's fair to say. And if you think of an IEO, it looks just like a security token because it's being issued direct to the market without any form of use case, often. How do we get back to where sort of Vitalik Buterin and Ethereum, a lot of the early believers in blockchain were thinking about, and where does the financial side begin to sort of get real as well?
Can I just quickly jump in? You're talking about Ethereum. Ethereum was an ICO as well, first of all, so I don't think
no, that's fantastic. I love tokenization and financial.
But let me just get this very, very straight with you guys. When it comes to IEOs, you're building credibility with the exchange, you're building liquidity, and you're building publicity. But when it comes to accessibility, when you talk about financial inclusion, the ICO is the most beautiful model that exists in the world, and I'll tell you why. If you entered the Ethereum ICO, if you entered the actual Binance ICO, if you enter these ICOs, Binance itself, the coin that did an ICO, outperformed Amazon in 2 years and what Amazon has done over a decade. So what I'm just trying to say here, guys, is that ICOs, you shouldn't call out ICOs as a part of the crowd. It's the projects
Yeah,
and people that are kind of
I'm a big believer,
creating
so,
that.
so it may be the wrong form of language, but I do think there's a lot of circularity in the space, and we saw that. It feels like a lot of people have not learned any lessons in a year, and it's been a pretty bad year.
So when people look at the, for example, traditional stock market, when it crashed by 9%, you don't call it scam. When it crashed on 9% on ICO, you call it scam. That's the problem.
Yeah, no, but wait a second.
It's a
Wait a
bias.
second. Wait a second. Okay. Sorry, I'm
Just
being very
because it's
rapid.
prevalent,
I disagree.
it doesn't mean it doesn't have some cracks. I see so many scams in traditional stock market.
I disagree with that point raised. Because if anybody knows of AIM, it is the terrible exchange. Alternative investment market. But the point being, the deals that have done very well have had great teams, great thought process, they've worked very hard and they've raised good amounts of capital to support them. The shit projects is the 95% of everything else. The little companies that just try and raise money for no apparent. I had a guy get in touch with me 2 days ago. Oh, I just want 300,000. What for? I just want it, just just because they're raising it. I'm like, are you talking out your arse? Hey, that's the point. It's the little companies, and on AIM, you have the sheriff of AIM, which is a bit of a pain in the arse. But he calls them out, and he calls them a scam. I had a paper transaction recently with a listed company. If you read my blog, you'll find it. And we had 360K out of them. Absolute scam. I got 50 out of it, and then they delisted. I call that a scam. I said it in public when they voted. I called it a scam.
90% of penny stocks also go to the dumpster.
Just clarify.
So first of all, ICOs are like penny stocks, guys. High risk, high return. If you find the right project, you become a millionaire. If you don't,
Well, actually, what was the question?
But can we dive? Okay, let's break it down very slowly. When is the technological use case going to come in, and why are people just going direct to the exchanges and sort of all whirring around? And I think the IEO trend is particularly disturbing.
I kind of see both points. I think there's a false dichotomy being created.
Yeah. Okay.
Look, I think what's happening is a slight shift where, say, in the traditional space, it's very hard for a small company to get recognized and raise capital, right? So you're not going to hear about them very often in circles as small as very elitist. Whereas in our space, in the blockchain and crypto space, everything's accessible. You've had this kind of regulatory exploitation with ICOs where retail can invest, and that's where most of the capital comes from, right? So because the community is kind of a lot more of an intensive loop in terms of what goes around information, investments, projects and branding, you have more of an aggressive cycle of people investing in bad projects, good projects, whatever, right? It's just more aggressive. I think that there isn't going to be this kind of crossroads pivot between when we go back to technological innovation and move away from financial speculation. Actually being still kind of very anti-capitalist, right? I have to say. So ironically, one thing I find about in the space is it's very difficult to remove the financial element from blockchain. Even in technological innovation, it just doesn't work. You can't see innovative tech without the money. And if you're going to go and do something that doesn't involve money in this space, well, no one's going to listen, and that's a sad fact. I do hope that changes one day. I do hope that we do probably what Toby is alluding to, where we're just solely focusing on technological innovation. But you have a little bit of an oxymoron there.
Yeah.
You need capital to seed this technology to get it to where it needs to go. We're still in its infant stage, right? We're still talking about layer 0, layer 1. We haven't really optimized any of these blockchains for layer 2 for scaling, for mass. And actually, even if you're doing TPS, even if you have users, it's still way, way more expensive than just filling up an AWS node, right? So we still have a long way to go. So for me, it's kind of just an ecosystem, right? You have all these things within it, and you just have to kind of navigate the good, the bad, the not so good. I think you're always going to get bad ICOs or bad companies, but that's just not, it's not related only to the crypto and blockchain space. They're also really bad companies to invest in that doing equity, right? So it's
Yeah, no, what I'm actually saying is I really feel like the IEO trend sounds like a security by another name, right? Because, and like, if you think of what the head of the SEC said, Jay Clayton, like the sort of, he is definitely probably a hate figure for a lot of people within crypto, but there is a fair point that basically these things coming direct to market, financed, and you're effectively saying they're a startup, getting this huge influx of capital without even needing to sort of make the argument that they're going direct to the public, and then there's some kind of use case which means it isn't a security, but it looks very strongly like it.
I'm very sorry to interrupt you guys. So in light of time, we are quite short of time. This gentleman, they stay for the networking and drinks, so you'll have an amazing opportunity to talk to them. Brady did his own IO, so if you, how many here, who think about IO, ICO, fundraising? Please raise your hands, maybe. 1, 2, 3. Oh my God! Wow, so many people. So these gents, including yourself, James, come over during the reception. We have some more amazing presentation. One keynote about KuCoin and a fireside chat with Revolut and Brady. So, guys, thank you so much. Thanks for coming over.